Welcome back, coin lovers and curious minds. Today, we dive deep into the incredible journey of a small, copper-plated coin that shocked the numismatic world. The mysterious 1980 Lincoln coin, linked to Australia, valued at a staggering $96,000. Yes, you heard right. A coin that once jingled quietly in someone's pocket could now fetch a life-changing sum. But how? Why? And what's the Australian connection? Buckle up for a full hour of history, intrigue, error, rarity, and the quest for fortune buried in the everyday. Let's begin by rewinding the clock to 1980. In the United States, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for over 70 years. Designed in 1909 by Victor David Brenner, it marked the first time a real person appeared on American currency. Abraham Lincoln was a powerful choice, a symbol of unity, perseverance, and honesty. Over the decades, the penny evolved in design and composition. But one thing stayed the same. It was the workhorse of American pocket change. So how does Australia come into this story? To answer that, we need to examine something critical: where coins are minted. While the U.S. has several mints, Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, there are rare occasions when foreign mints are contracted to produce American coins. This typically happens when there is a high demand and not enough domestic minting capacity. In 1980, the United States Mint experienced just that, a demand surge for 1-cent coins. To meet the overwhelming need, the U.S. government outsourced production to the Royal Australian Mint. That's right, an American coin designed in the United States, carrying the face of an American president, was struck thousands of miles away in Canberra, Australia. Now, this wasn't a secret. It was documented, but only later did collectors realize something strange. Some of the 1980 Lincoln cents minted in Australia were slightly different, and those differences would become crucial. Let's look at the technical side. The 1980 Lincoln cent struck in the United States was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. But Australian minting standards, tools, and procedures weren't always identical to those in the U.S. Even subtle differences in the planchet, die alignment, strike pressure, and finishing could result in unique anomalies. And here is where things get interesting. Among the many coins struck in Australia, a few displayed anomalous features, stronger than usual strikes, slight die polishing marks, and even unexpected metal composition differences. But the true game changer came when one particular 1980 Lincoln cent appeared at auction with a rare error believed to be struck on a foreign planchet, possibly intended for a different coin altogether. This specimen caught the attention of top experts. It had characteristics no other known 1980 cent possessed: unusual weight, a different luster. Welcome back, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing stories in numismatics, a mysterious coin that defies expectations. It's Australian. It's from 1976, and it features Abraham Lincoln. Yes, you heard that right. And to make things even more fascinating, one rare example of this unusual coin is now worth up to $100,000. So, what exactly is the Lincoln Australia 1976 coin? And why is it so valuable? Let's begin with the basics and the mystery. The year is 1976 in Australia. The country is using its standard decimal currency, 1 cent, 2 cents, 5 cents, and so on. But this particular piece is like nothing else produced for circulation. This isn't your average Australian coin. It's not even officially listed in standard coin catalogs. That's because the Lincoln Australia 1976 coin isn't a standard government issue. It's what numismatists call a fantasy coin or a commemorative piece, possibly made as a private minting or a pattern design that never went into full production. On the obverse or front side, It features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. That's right, a U.S. president on an Australian coin. Just that fact alone sends collectors into a frenzy. Below Lincoln's bust is the year minus 1976, and on the reverse, the word Australia is clearly visible, along with symbolic designs that echo elements of both Australian and American motifs. Some examples even have. In the world of coin collecting, some stories are so strange they seem like myths until the evidence appears. One such case is the mysterious 1976 Lincoln coin from Australia. It's a coin that has sparked curiosity, confusion, and even disbelief among numismatists. What is Abraham Lincoln, the American president, doing on a coin minted in Australia in 1976? And more importantly, why has one example been valued at a jaw-dropping $100,000? Let's rewind to the mid-1970s. Australia was undergoing several changes in its coinage system after the transition to decimal currency in 1966. During this period, several experimental and test strikes were produced by the Royal Australian Mint. Some of these pieces never made it into circulation. They were meant for internal use, dies were tested, metals were trialed, and patterns were struck. But among these elusive pieces, one oddity stands out, a coin that bears the image of Abraham Lincoln. This 1976 piece is not an official circulating Australian coin. It is believed to be a pattern or test strike, possibly creatively rare due to minting errors and special variations. One of the most valuable errors found on the 1967 2-cent coin is the upset die error in a standard coin. The obverse and reverse are perfectly aligned. However, in some rare cases, the dies were misaligned during striking, causing the queen's portrait to be rotated at an unusual angle. These errors are scarce, and when found in uncirculated condition, they can fetch thousands of dollars. The most famous of these upset die errors sold for $13,000, making it one of the most expensive 2-cent coins in Australian history. Another factor that increases the value of certain 1967 2-cent coins is the existence of proof and specimen strikes. Proof coins are struck using specially polished dies, creating a sharp, mirror-like finish. These coins were never meant for circulation and were produced in limited numbers for collectors and official presentations. If a proof 1967 2-cent coin is found in pristine condition today, it can command a high premium at auction. Beyond upset die errors and proof strikes, other minting mistakes also contribute to high valuations. Some 1967 2-cent coins exhibit double strikes, where the coin is struck twice, creating a ghosted second image. Others have off-center strikes, where the design appears misaligned. Additionally, some coins have die cracks or cuds, which are raised metal areas caused by damage to the minting die. These errors add uniqueness to the coin, making them highly desirable among collectors. One of the most famous sales in numismatic history occurred when a rare 1967 2-cent coin was put up for auction. The coin, featuring an upset die error, was in near-perfect condition, showing almost no signs of wear. Collectors quickly recognized its rarity, and as bidding escalated, the price soared past $10,000, finally closing at an incredible $13,000. This record-breaking sale cemented the coin's status as one of Australia's most valuable small-denomination coins. First, rarity. Experts believe fewer than 10 examples of the 1981 20-cent Canadian mule error have been discovered to date. That's fewer than most classic gold sovereigns or early colonial tokens. Its mintage is essentially unknown, but its scarcity is undeniable. Second, error appeal. Mule coins, especially those involving foreign mints and accidental die pairings, are extremely popular among collectors. They represent a glimpse into the hidden flaws of even the most precise systems. In this case, it's a cross-continental mistake, adding layers of intrigue. Third, condition. The record-setting example that sold for approximately $89,000 USD was in exceptional condition, graded as almost uncirculated by top grading agencies. When rarity meets condition, the value skyrockets. Finally, demand. There's a feverish global interest in numismatic oddities. Collectors from Australia, Canada, the United States, and the UK have all expressed interest in this coin, driving up prices at auctions and private sales. So, how do you know if you might have one of these unicorns hiding in your collection? Or perhaps in a jar of spare change? Queen's Portrait. The mule coin uses the Canadian obverse of Queen Elizabeth II. It's smaller, with a more compact design than the Australian counterpart. Beaded circle around the Queen's portrait. You'll notice a ring of tiny beads, feature not present on standard 1981 Australian 20-cent coins, struck in Canada, although not directly marked. These coins bear the subtle die characteristics of Canadian minting. The metal finish may look slightly different, and the spacing of the lettering may be irregular. Edge and rim. The rim of the mule coin can appear misaligned or double-rimmed, another clue to its mismatched die origin. If you spot any of these features, do not spend the coin. Get it professionally appraised, preferably by a reputable numismatics organization or third-party grading service. The market for rare Australian coins has been steadily climbing, and the 1981 mule is no exception. Over the past decade, several examples have surfaced at public auctions, with steadily rising hammer prices. One particularly famous example sold at auction for over 130,000 AUD, which translates to roughly $89,000 USD at the time. This was one of the highest prices ever paid for a circulating decimal Australian coin. Collectors believe that as time goes on and fewer uncirculated examples remain, the value of the 1981 mule will only increase. The 1981 Australian 20-cent mule is a testament to the unexpected in numismatics. It shows us that even in the most controlled environments like national mints, errors can occur, and sometimes those errors can produce treasures. What makes this story truly remarkable is that such a coin could still be sitting in someone's kitchen drawer, in a flea market, or in a forgotten coin collection.